What in the heavens to Betsy does the term clean beauty mean? And when it comes to the world of hair care, does that mean that products aren't clean, are dirty? Yikes. In this video, I'm going to be getting into exactly what clean beauty means and what it means to you when you're using hair care at home or you're a hair professional and using products on your clients. Hello and welcome to the world of Craig. Yes, I'm Craig and this is my channel where we get into all things hair and sometimes a little bit of beauty. I've been a hairdresser and hair colorist for 37 years, and one of the things that I do that you don't see an awful lot of on my social media is research and development. I work with brands and they hire me or get me to come along and I help them to develop products. So I'm not a chemist. First up, I must say I am not, hands up, I'm not a chemist, but I do work with brands in formulation. So it made sense to make this video because it's everywhere at the moment, the term clean beauty. And I do that, and I'm sorry if I do that and it annoys you, but what does that term clean beauty mean? Well, in this video, that's exactly what we're going to be getting onto. So hold on to your sodium lauryl sulfates. Let's get into exactly what that term means. Now, a tiny bit of housekeeping. If you're new here, hello. And if you're coming back for another look, hello. I appreciate you all. I'm very grateful for all the support that you give me here on my channel. I love my YouTube channel. I do have an Instagram, which is packed full of my hair day to day. And if you enjoy this and find it helpful, then you know exactly what to do. But I really appreciate all of you coming here to watch my content because I love putting it together. Now, you are going to see here my iPad, my teenage iPad. I've done a lot of research in this video, and as I've mentioned already, I do work with formulation with some brands, some of the really big brands, which I won't mention, but some very big brands, and I've been doing that for a while, and I'm also a total geek and a bit of a nerd. So you will find me in bed at night reading lots and lots of product information. I always love to get technical decks from people, from brands when I work with them, and yeah, so I've done a lot of research for this, so you will be seeing my iPad. But first of all, what does clean beauty mean? Well, let's just debunk it immediately. It's an unofficial term. So there is no official definition of what clean beauty is. So that means that any brand can call anything clean, and the ingredients that are deemed to be clean can vary from brand to brand. But some of the ones that are included, grabs iPad, are Parabens, synthetic fragrances, sodium lauryl sulphate, we'll get into her in a minute, phthalates, artificial colours, formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a tricky one, and we'll talk about that too. Aluminium compounds, hydroquinone, that's another tricky one, oxybenzone, triclosan, refined petroleum, talc, and butylated hydroxyanisole, BHA is the breakdown of that, the abbreviation. So that's some of the ingredients, but it can also run to natural ingredients too. So things like coconut oil, some other oils, some kind of plant extracts can also be classed as not being clean. So really, as soon as you understand that there is no official, no official definition of what clean beauty means, really what it is it's a marketing term. It's something that has been picked up. Health and wellness and well-being are such a huge market that it makes sense that that would filter into both beauty and hair care. And, I have examples that I'm going to share with you, but it really is up to you to make up your own mind. The reality of it is that you will probably pay a premium for things that are deemed to be clean beauty. And, that doesn't mean that the formulations will be hoodwinking you or that they'll be bad. All of it is good, but it's up to you to make an informed decision, which is why I'm making this video. But first up, let's talk about sodium lauryl sulphate, or SLS, because that has been a very controversial one and it's something I feel very strongly about. So this is quite a long clip, so let's go to the next one and get into sodium lauryl sulphate. Now, sodium lauryl sulphate. Again, that was picked up as a marketing term. There is nothing to suggest that sodium lauryl sulphate, SLS, is harmful to us as humans. There have been studies Like any of the things that I'm going to talk about, massive, vast exposure to these things, yes, of course, that could cause you harm. But at the levels that they are in the products that we use, especially with something like SLS, did you know that that can no longer be used as a marketing point? It can't be a big splash of marketing to say that something is SLS, sodium lauryl sulphate free, and therefore it is better for you. That is not allowed. So, you know, sodium lauryl sulphate, yes, there have been studies, but you'd have to expose yourself to it in such vast quantities for it to be harmful for you. And even then, there is no conclusive evidence. So sodium lauryl sulphate is a detergent, and it's a really great detergent. And I have some science here, but basically it's an anionic surfactant. And that means that it's very good at removing dirt from the hair. So it's hydrophilic, which means it's water loving. So it's attracted to water, and that's what often makes the body of shampoos and makes shampoos lather and clean the hair. I'm sure that many of you have used sodium lauryl sulphate free products and have found that they haven't been very effective. If you love SLS free products, that's completely great. And I'm not saying that you should use things with sodium lauryl sulphate or you shouldn't. How many times am I going to say sodium lauryl sulphate? It really is personal preference. But me personally, as a hair professional, I like to use things that are effective. And as long as I'm not putting anybody at harm or at risk or myself, then sometimes I think it's about using things that are the most effective and work the best for us. Because, you know, no one has said that sodium lauryl sulphate is dirty as such. Keeps doing this a lot. So, you know, just to completely throw out that it looks at iPad again, it's also very interesting when I was doing my research. So sodium lauryl sulphate is amphiphilic or amphipathic. So it's basically a compound that's attracts the dirt from the hair. It attracts oil and grease and debris, which is really quite amazing, really, and very sciencey. But really, at the end of the day, if you want to use SLS, it's not going to do you any harm. Yes, of course, if something has been formulated that is a cheaper price point, then the quality of the ingredients that go into that cheaper price point product might not be as superior as something that is more expensive. But is it going to do you any harm? No. Is it dirty? Absolutely not. Just to add to that as well, when it comes to sodium lauryl sulphate, apologies, spring is springing here in London and the sun is going in and out, but it is so beautiful to see the sunshine. So I apologise if my lighting is a bit in and out. When it comes to sodium lauryl sulphate, I hear it a lot. I even hear it in the salon that I rent a chair in, and that is sodium lauryl sulphate is bad for hair colour. No, it's not. It's not bad for hair colour. Yes, if a product has a cheaper formulation, you know, if it's a cheaper price point, it might not be so colour kind, but it's not SLS that strips colour out or that will remove your keratin treatment. If you have a keratin treatment, it's sodium chloride, salt. So a lot of, you know, a lot of higher price point hair colour products and hair colour lines like hair care, they don't have sodium chloride in them. The sodium chloride in hair care products and shampoos and conditioners is often, it's a preservative and it's a stabilizer, and it's also gives the product its kind of body, its texture, if you like. It's added to a product to give it texture. So sodium chloride is the thing that you want to avoid if you have a lot of color in your hair or if you have a keratin treatment, not necessarily SLS. Whilst we're talking about keratin treatments, now here in the UK, you can't use formaldehyde-based keratin treatments. They are not legal. Obviously, if you go, I don't really know the legalities of it in somewhere like Brazil where they originated, so I won't even mention that because I don't know. But I know in other parts of the world you can still use them. But here's something that's very interesting. I always found formaldehyde keratin treatments, based keratin treatments, to be extremely effective and to really do the job. Now, when it comes to formaldehyde, do we know that that can cause you harm? Yes, we do for sure. But here's something that's interesting, and formaldehyde, you know, does get really hyped, you know, and obviously formaldehyde is used to embalm human beings, but formaldehyde is everywhere. It is around us. You know, it's in the air. You know, it's within us. It's all over the place. So formaldehyde is a great example of something that, you know, could potentially do us harm, but in the amounts that we are exposed to it. And would I want to do keratin treatments with formaldehyde all day, every day, without a mask on, without ventilation? No, I wouldn't. But, you know, it's worth remembering that formaldehyde is everywhere. So, you know, when you see these things, these videos that are 7 seconds long or 12 seconds long, shorts or TikToks or Instagram reels, you know, just be wary of the fact that sometimes the information isn't always correct. When it comes to things like parabens and phthalates, you know, again, there is no conclusive evidence that parabens or phthalates can do us any harm as humans. There have been studies, but there is no conclusive proof and evidence. So again, it really does come to, I mean, it always comes down to, at the end of the day, doesn't it? Your personal preference as what you feel comfortable using. I just looked back at my notes, and interesting, share it with you because it will give you some insight. In America recently, somebody tried to bring a lawsuit against Sephora. You know, Sephora, huge global brand, and they tried to bring a lawsuit, put your teeth in, Craig, against Sephora regarding their clean beauty section. So in the Sephora stores, they have a clean beauty section, and somebody tried to file a lawsuit to say that, you know, that can't happen. You can't have a clean beauty section, and the lawsuit was thrown out. So that's the kind of other side of it, if you like, and that, you know, it's such a huge marketing term now, but to reiterate, there is no official legislation on things being clean. Whoops, does that again. There's one other thing I would like to talk about, and that is dimethicone. Dimethicone. Now, dimethicone is the kind of the science word, if you like, for silicone, dimethicone. There are lots of different forms of them. There are different grades. There are different qualities. There are ways that they are manufactured differently. But dimethicone, and let's have a close-up zoom in for this, dimethicone is not the devil. It is not. Dimethicone is a product that is used in skincare, beauty. It's occlusive. So what that means is it keeps in moisture and it keeps the skin hydrated by keeping other things out, okay? So it forms a barrier. That's what I was thinking of. In hair care, it's used to give the hair slip, to give it that silkiness, and I do love products with dimethicone. I use products in salon that have dimethicone, obviously after I've used K18, because you want K18 leave-in mask, which I use on all my clients to go next to the hair first, and then I would use something with dimethicone. Dimethicone, how many times am I going to say that, are brilliant products for giving slip and silkiness and smoothness, and also for keeping moisture out, for stopping the hair from going frizzy, for keeping the hair silky feeling. They're also great for stopping mechanical damage when the hair is damp. When hair is damp or wet, it's very stretchy. So if I have a product that has stretchy hair that comes to me for the first time, then I will probably use at some point something that has dimethicone in it to make the hair feel silky. How many of you have seen the video of someone scraping the scissors down the hair that is saying that is dimethicone with all the sort of white stuff that's coming off, the kind of powdery stuff? That is not dimethicone. They are scraping the cuticle off of the hair. And that video has gone viral many, many, many times. And that's, again, you know, short form content where someone's saying dimethicone is the devil. It really isn't. It's a fantastic ingredient. And most of the forms of dimethicone silicone that we see in products now are water soluble, and they do not build up on the hair. And if you feel that your hair does feel like it has product build-up, there are many great things like the K18 Detox Shampoo that you can use that will remove that build-up. In fact, the K18 Detox Shampoo does it in just one shampoo, 99%. So there are great products to deal with that, but dimethicone is your friend. One final little nugget of information before I say goodbye, and that is, a lot of you have reached out and said on my home hair color, my box dye video, that you really love the conditioners that come with the color. Now, it's very interesting because we've just been talking about it. They all contain dimethicone, The ones that I did the research on before I filmed the video, all of them had some form of or several forms of dimethicone, and they make the hair, and you've all been saying they make the hair feel very soft, very silky. You love them and you would like to be able to buy big tubs of those. Well, that's what you need to look for when you're in the drugstore or the chemist or looking for professional products, is products that contain that dimethicone. Interestingly enough, if you look on the in-store information where it says, you know, hair shinier, silkier, softer, no breakage, there's an asterisk and it says it's because of the conditioner that comes in that box. And that is why you enjoy it. So what have we learned in this video? What have I shared with you? Well, we know that clean beauty is, whether it's in skincare or makeup or hair care, is a marketing term. There is no official line on it. You know, there's no legislation at all. It is a marketing term. We know that sodium lauryl sulphate is not bad for your hair. And if it's something you choose to use, then that's completely fine. But if you choose not to use it, that's fine too. We know that dimethicone is not the work of Satan, and it can make your hair feel very silky and soft, as it can also help your skin retain moisture. Ultimately, it's up to you. You make the choices and decisions about what products you use, obviously, and you know that's why it made so much sense to make this, because my channel is all about putting things out there for you so you can take them and make them your own, whether it's videos like this or whether it's, you know, free hair education. There is tons of it here on my channel. It is ultimately all about you. It's about us. I love that. Now, if you'd like to see more videos like this, but that are slightly more sciencey, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a chemist. Chemists are absolutely incredible people, big up to them. But if you would like stuff that is of this ilk, then let me know down below in the comments. And as always, you leave me a comment and I will always get back to you. As I mentioned earlier on, I have an Instagram. And if you enjoyed this, you know exactly what to do. A huge thank you for coming to the end and for watching this. You all take lots of care, and I'll see you all in the next one.